Well, hello there, my dear friend, and or Mary, or whomever else is watching. Chotkeys. We should have thought of this a lot sooner, but we didn't, so I'm going to show you right now how to create the famous or infamous Chotki knot. Now, what is a Chotki? I don't mean in a religious sense, I mean in a literal and physical sense. What is this? It is a bunch of knots, right? And you can see it here in bicolor. This is the Mega Chotki I recently made, 300 knots. What you start out with is two bits of cord, two strands, and these strands are connected, and we create a number of knots, and then we end up by looping them in such a way that you end with a closed circuit of loops. What you can see, this is a good one, is that the Chotki ends with a little bead and then a thicker knot. This knot is thicker than the other ones, and that is because we end up like this, and we create one big knot here. So you can see that it would be 4 strands instead of 2, and that makes the knot a lot thicker. I'm not going to show you how to do that. It's fairly simple and straightforward because it's just the standard knot except with 4 strands instead of 2. So let's just start. There's 2 strands. In this case it's bicolored, right? We use 2 colors, and that's very easy, especially when you start, because it's easier, especially in the latter phase of this whole knotting process, to identify the separate strands. And the result, as you can see on this Mega Chotki, is actually quite nice. It's a nice combination. Of course, I must say I also like the single colored ones a lot, but the bicolored ones are just, it's practical, as I said, especially when you start. So the first step is to take your 2 strands of cord and knot them together. Just use one of those simple knots which you use to connect 2 bits of cord, and then take your hand. I'll move this a little bit so you can see my hand a little bit better. Notice the samurai swords in the background. Moving on, you take your hand, and so this is, I'm waving, right? So this is my palm. You put the 2 strands on like this, so that the knot is here like a ring. Yeah? The first step is you take this strand, put it around your thumb, like this. Very simple. You pull them tight, you have this shape. The second step is you pinch this, put it around your middle finger. You tighten it, you get this shape. You see this X, right? And what you want to do is put your thumb and index finger through this part of the X and grab this strand. Then you pull it through. There. Now, I move my thumb, let go of the loop surrounding it, and stick it through the other loop, like that. Now I pull on that bit, you get this box shape. This box shape is the basis. So if you see this, then you're doing right so far. Now the next step is you take this strand, put it under the other one, then loop it around your ring and middle finger, so put it behind them like this, and stick it through there. You end up like this. This could be a bit tighter, like that. Now you see the second X, right? Here. what I want to do is I grab hold of that X and put it around my thumb. This time, do not slide out of the loop. So there are 3 bits of cord around my thumb right now. Yeah? So, the next step. You take this strand, you loop it behind your ring middle fingers, that way, and you stick it through here. So this is the back of my hand. Yeah. Go through there. Pull it through and then leave it. Then I take this strand, I put it underneath that one, loop it behind my ring middle fingers. This time I pull it through there. So go pull it through like that with your finger. Yeah, it needs to go behind the other loops. I pull it to make it tight. This is the shape you end up with. Now you need to identify this strand continues around your thumb. You need to find which of these it is. Now this is fairly simple. It's this one. Of course you can check, just pull it and you will see that the knot moves, right? So I know I've got the right one. I take hold of that, I pull my thumb free, and then I pull it, put my thumb through the loop I was holding. Don't tighten it now, just leave it as it is. Things become a little bit more difficult now. I'll turn around my hand to show you the situation. There are 3 loops around my ring finger, and there is 1 really around my middle finger. What I'm going to do, this is a bit of a technique. I'm going to use these 3 fingers to grasp these 2 loops. I always start out with my middle finger and my thumb with my right hand, and I pinch the loops around my ring finger. Then I move my index finger in such a way that I hold these loops. Now my thumb is free again. Then this loop around my middle finger, I grab that between my thumb and index finger. So now I've got all these loops between these 3 fingers. This takes a bit of coordination, especially the first times. Then I pull all of them free. Yeah? Then I put my middle finger through the loop I'm holding between my thumb and index finger. So that is the exact same loop that was around it before, but I've just liberated my ring finger. This tangled mess is actually the basis of the Chotki knot. So what you want to do now is very carefully, very gently, and in a very controlled manner, you will pull these 2 hanging strands very carefully. And as you do that, you see the knot is taking shape. Sometimes you may have to pull this bit or that bit a little bit. That's actually cheating. You should do it in such a way that it's perfectly clean in one go, but so far I don't think I've managed. Do it like this, and then pull everything off. This is the basis of the knot. It is already quite symmetric, and I love this symmetrical thing about it, and it's also very convenient. I'll explain to you why. You see, up till now we've just done the easy part. The bad news is things will only become more difficult from this point onwards. The good news is that there is no further bad news, really. I'm sorry, it's just the way things are. Now, what we're going to do is we want this knot to be very close to this knot. As the Chotki progresses, this knot will be